everyone, we're back at it here with part 2. The other day my phone died, and so I didn't get to finish my tour of the garden. It is now about 2 days later, so things are still looking pretty much the same as the other day, and we'll just keep going right where we left off. And I think that was at our Meyer lemon tree and looking at the beetles. So let's see if they're still there, and then we'll move on to the other beds and see what's going on. Alrighty, so the Meyer lemon tree, as we looked at last time, is looking pretty good and pretty solid. Still looking solid. I have noticed though, there are a few more lemons growing. Oh, lost it. A few more lemons growing. I didn't notice those before. How exciting is that? I'm not seeing those scary beetles, which is great, but you know, I say that and we're probably gonna then find them. But yeah, I'm pretty much picking up right where we left off. Oh, that was a bee. There was just a bumblebee, which are my favorite. Love bumblebees. Wonder if we can get it. Yeah, there it is. Cute. But yeah, how exciting. We're getting lemons. We have so many blossoms. It's looking really good. Little bit of a change from the other day though is I cleaned up the cucumbers a little bit. The vines are getting pretty out of hand. I think I'm gonna have to start really aggressively pruning it back because it is insane. I literally harvested an entire basket's worth after I recorded that video, and there's already more to harvest. Yep. Made 8 jars of pickles, quart-sized jars of pickles, and I still have a fridge full of cucumbers, so that'll be fun to deal with. It is fun. I love it, but it's a lot. It's very overwhelming and time-consuming. Here we have what's now going to be the sweet potato bed, because so last year I grew Japanese sweet potatoes in this bed, and I thought I pulled everything. I did not. There was like little baby teeny tiny roots in there, and now they are all growing. This bed is being taken over by sweet potato vines. The onions are disappointing. So the onions, I thought I had to give them some more time, but they're actually ready. I've been pulling them as I need them for recipes, but they're like starting to really just sprout and become like double onions. And I'll show you what I mean here in just a second. I have a picture from the other day of when I harvested some for our recipe, and you know, that's just not ideal. So I don't know if it's because of the variety that I grew or if I just didn't do something correctly, but definitely was not like a supermarket onion. So we'll try again next year. But in this bed, this kale is not gonna make it. So I have some kale in here. I don't think it's gonna make it through because the sweet potato vines, once they get going, and they are starting to get going, they get very vigorous. But the peas are starting to grow. I don't know how happy they're gonna be. It's about to get really hot in Houston, but so far they're doing well. And let me just get this one back on track there. But yeah, the peas are actually looking really good. Very happy. I don't know how. We're literally up in our 90s at this point and not a lot of rain too. I have to get out here and water every day. So that's that bed. And then the next big bed has some new interesting developments. Well, kind of. So I planted some watermelon seeds and those have sprouted. I'm gonna give them probably about a week or so to really establish before I thin them out. I have this beautiful squash plant growing. Look at how big these leaves are. Huge. Here's my hand. Here's the leaves. Unfortunately, I saw squash vine borers hanging out, and we'll see some evidence of them here. So you'll see how that stem is like bulging. I know that there is larvae in there, and you know, I could take a syringe with some BT and inject it, but honestly, it's just not worth it for me to deal with it, because we have such heavy pressure with the squash vine borers that I could be out here fighting them every day and they're still going to lay their little eggs and they're still going to infest my squash. I found last year that honestly, squash plants are very resilient, and even despite the stem being like destroyed and taken over by the squash vine borer larva, it still produced fruit. So I'm just gonna let it kind of go. But look at how big this leaf is. It's ginormous. And then too, once this one doesn't produce anymore, I did actually harvest one the other day, and so I think it's about to really take off. Once it stops producing, I'm just gonna replant it. It grows so fast. Like, all of this growth is probably 2 weeks. So it's pretty vigorous. I have this poor like bush bean growing here, and the squash was supposed to grow the other way, but now we have this bush bean growing here, and we have some bush beans that I actually can probably harvest. So the other problem with this bed, and now we just went vertical. The other problem with this bed is that there's a lot of ants, and that means there's a lot of aphids. So the Brussels sprouts are a prime example of that. I've given up. I need to pull this Brussels sprout plant. Basically, as soon as the weather got in the 80s, which was a couple weeks ago, the ants just came out in full force. Aphid infestation, caterpillar infestation. And I tried getting out here every day and cleaning it up. I tried spraying. I sprayed it down with the hose. I sprayed it down with some organic, I think I actually sprayed BT on it for the cabbage worms. But the pressure is so strong and you can see how many holes. And it looks really pretty on camera, actually. Look at how pretty that looks. But obviously inedible. Like, oh gosh, you can see all of the different caterpillars in there and stuff. Maybe it's kind of like a Where's Waldo situation. There's one. So basically just, I'm leaving this Brussels sprout as a sacrificial plant. Well, I had 2. And, I'm not that disappointed. I did get some good Brussels sprouts. And, you could argue that, like, there's so many good ones on there. You can totally harvest them. Unfortunately, Brussels sprouts are like little baby cabbages. And that means that the aphids are all within those Brussels sprouts. Because I tried. I harvested them, cut them in half, and even after like soaking and everything, they were still they're so infested with aphids, and they're all within the leaves that it's gross. I don't want to eat it, and I'm not going to bother with it. So good job, Brussels sprouts. You did great. I got, several pounds from them. They produced really well. I was just also a little bit late planting them this year, so I didn't get as much as I wanted to. Because like we just saw, there's so many little sprouts that if I had just planted them a little bit earlier, and I could have probably gotten to it before all the pest pressure came on. And then we have a new addition to the garden here. Raised bed number 3. Doesn't have a whole lot going on yet. I was hoping that it would by the time I recorded this video, because I planted direct sown tomato seeds that I got from Burpee, and only 1 out of 9 has germinated. And let's see if we can even find it. Yeah. And it hasn't even put out like its first true set of leaves. So I don't know what's going on with that. Basically what I'm gonna do is one of these weekends just probably go to my local plant nursery and get some tomato starts, because I do really want to grow tomatoes, but I guess I was a little too late and maybe a little too optimistic about the direct sown variety. What I'll probably do in the fall then is just start them indoors. I have a grow light set up in my garage that I haven't used in a couple of years because I've been kind of busy and really just focused on direct sowing for the past couple of seasons. So this is a nice view from the back of the garden towards the house, and I love it. I love this view. It's so peaceful, especially like at night and the string lights are on. It's great. The last thing I want to show you is these two little beds here. The fennel has been doing really well. I've actually had a lot of really big success with fennel here in our climate. It seems to actually not do so badly with our heat too. It actually grows really nicely, and we love fennel, so, and it's kind of expensive in the store, so it's really nice to be able to grow it, and it's so easy to grow. And the fun thing too is that when you're ready to harvest, they're not ready to harvest just yet, but they will be soon. When you're ready to harvest, if you just cut at the base here, it'll grow back. It'll grow back a whole new bulb. It's awesome. It really regenerates like all season long. Last year I had a fennel bulb that I cut down probably about 5 times, and it came back every time. The only reason I got rid of it, honestly, was to make room for something else. It's really a resilient and beautiful and tasty plant. In this bed I had some bok choy, same problem as the Brussels sprouts, really bad pest pressure. So I pulled the rest of it right when the pest pressure started, so I still had to rinse off quite a few caterpillars and aphids, but now I'm basically just leaving it for the bugs until I'm ready to, you know, replace it with something else. And then over here on the patio, I need to water it. Things are looking a little sad, but also beautiful. The chast trees are looking really, really pretty, and the bees are loving them. The roses are not happy with the heat, but actually this one is not looking bad. And then over on the other side here, rosemary is looking good. Mint has also been getting a lot of aphid pressure because the ants love to make their home in these containers. But look at this. I'm really excited about this. I've never successfully grown nasturtiums before. And look at how pretty these are. Just a nice, super vibrant pop of color. So pretty. And then the fig, let me see if I can step around here. The fig is really establishing itself and really taking off. So that is looking so happy, like little branches and sprouts going. I'm really, really pleased with the fig so far, and I'm excited to hopefully get a harvest sometime later this year. The last thing I think that I missed was the blackberry bush, the sad little hole here. It's establishing itself. It's not the happiest little plant in the world, but it's trying its best, and it's putting out some new growth. It's not bad. I have a plan for this. I think I've talked about it in a past video. This is not the permanent solution. This sucks right now. As we can see, our grass grows very vigorously, and it's already trying to make its way in there. So what I have already is some really nice wooden edging that I bought at Home Depot the other day, and I'm going to make this hole bigger. I have a little bit more compost that I can top it up with, because we'll see that the planting soil is sticking up a little bit outside of the native soil, so I just want to take care of that issue, and then I want to mulch it. It's going to look really beautiful and more intentional and a little bit more apparent, so that we don't keep almost mowing over it or almost stepping on it or almost destroying it with the hose. So that's going to be my next little project. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Here's the garden from this view again. Up next is going to be some spring cleaning, part 2, getting rid of some of the pest infested stuff that we talked about, maybe planting some new seeds. You know, I think I'm going to try growing okra again. That produces a lot, so I have to really think carefully about that in light of how many pickles I've been dealing with. That is all for today. Thanks so much for joining me. Sorry for the kind of two-parter here, but yeah, I'm super excited to keep growing. I'm super excited to get everything cleaned up, start getting some of the more permanent landscaping taken care of. There's some things that I want to plant in the ground, like the rosemary, and so we're just going to keep growing and eating really well too. So many cucumbers and so many pickles. Unfortunately, I am the only person in my household that likes pickles, so that is basically, I guess, what I'll be living off of for the next foreseeable future. Anyway, till next time, bye guys.